Hey guys, I want to show you my 2023 890 Adventure R. Just picked it up. It's new to me. I bought it used with 1,000 miles on it, and I put another 1,000 on it since I've had it a month or so ago. And just kind of a walk around, show you what I got here. The previous owner had put on the taller windshield. I still have the short one, which I use more for off-roading. He put on the Aero Cat Delete. I don't know if you can see it in there. It's right there. There's a bit of an expansion chamber to it, but it removes that large hot item from right under the seat. It's a lot cooler to ride. He also paid to unlock the tech pack on there, which I very much appreciate, and got a good price on it. And the guy didn't have any problems with it. I went to my dealer, which was also the previous owner's dealer. He traded it in on a 690. He wanted something a little lighter and smaller, and I asked my dealer to go back and look at the maintenance records on it just to make sure there wasn't any outstanding issues, and the only thing there was the initial service. So everything was good. In my 1,000 miles, it's ran very good. No issues so far. So we got about 2,000 miles on the bike. Still pretty early, still pretty young. The only thing I did to it since I had it was I installed my GPS. I got a Van Esch aluminum mount and mounted that and wired it in. They give you some nice power accessories. There's a compartment in there to power your accessories. I also wired a battery maintainer, which I do on all my bikes, and when it's not being used, it's in the maintainer. I put on the heated grips as well, and these are kind of nice. They're the factory ones, so you can operate them right through the display with your push buttons. So yeah, so that cat delete that he put on there, not only does it save you about 4 pounds and makes the whole riding experience cooler, right? So you don't get the heat drifting up on you. So it's cooler on a bike, but that's the stock can on there, so everything is stock except that cat delete. Kind of frees up the engine. It feels like it's running freer. I've ridden other ones that had the standard cat and they felt a little more choked, and this one runs good. You get a good exhaust note. It's really good fuel mileage. I'm right at about 59 miles to gallon. That's a mix of trails and road, gravel, and which is pretty good, I think. And it has an extra. So I came off of a Tenere 700, which I just sold a couple months ago, and I really enjoyed that bike. That's a really good bike. But I think I'll do a comparison video on the ownership experience between the 890 and the Tenere 700. They're both really good bikes. Pros and cons to everything, of course. I enjoy the 5.2 gallon tank on this. It's an extra gallon tank, extra gallon of gas over the other one, and 10 miles a gallon better fuel economy on this one. Not sure how. It's a bigger engine with a good amount more power, but this gets an extra 10 miles a gallon better. And maybe it's the, bigger engine is not working as hard. You don't need to twist the throttle near as much to make it happen on this one. Maybe. It's got a 300 plus mile range on it, which I also enjoy. So far I really enjoy the bike. So, some of the thoughts on this bike so far with 1,000 miles on it. I'm going to kind of compare this to the Tenere. That's the last bike I had, and I just want to give you the perspective of a guy that's owned both and ridden them. I'm not going to get into the specs too much. Anybody can read those online. This is more about the experience of the ride and the feel and just the ownership experience of it. First thing I noticed right away is I get on this bike, and it's got a lot of power, but it's very manageable. It's never scary. If you want to do it, it's there. It's like, let's go, let's do it. So it's got all you want, but it'll never scare you. It's very well controlled, very smooth linear throttle response. I enjoy that. The other thing I noticed right away is the suspension is fantastic. It's very good suspension. Just want to let you know that in no way through this video am I knocking the 700, because the Tenere is an excellent bike. I had it. It's great. We do need to realize that this bike, new versus new, is 50% more. So as far as money goes, it's some extra money, so you would hope you're getting 50% more bike or thereabouts. It runs very strong. It carries its weight very low. It's a low center of gravity. The tank is way down there. It's larger by a gallon from the Tenere, like I mentioned before, but it carries it very low. So it literally feels like a mini bike as soon as you're rolling. It's very maneuverable and just very light on the handling and steering. The true comparison would be more like the 790 to the Tenere 700. So we need to keep that in mind, is that this is, although they still consider it a mid-weight adventure bike, it is still a larger engine. Larger engine, it's got a lot more power. This has 100 plus horsepower. Tenere was 77-ish horsepower, so it's substantially more. This bike rips. Got tons of torque and power, but it's very smooth and very controllable. The Tenere was also very smooth and very controllable. It just didn't have as much power. I owned the Tenere for a couple of years, put almost 5,000 miles on it. Towards the end, I was looking for ways considering ways to get power out of it. I'm by no means an expert rider. I would consider myself intermediate at best. I've ridden a long time, since I was a kid, various different bikes, but I've never raced, and I really don't plan to, and I certainly do not consider myself any kind of an expert. That said, yeah, I was looking for more power by the time I sold it. This one, no way. This has got all kinds of power, so I really appreciate that. I don't always use it, but when I want to, it's there, and it's really nice. It's a nice ride through the countryside. It's gorgeous out here. Beautiful day. It's overcast. It is 77 degrees. It's a bit humid. We have a heat advisory for later today. If the sun comes out, it's going to get really warm. So the 890 is a bike that when I sit on it, ergonomically, it's just dead on. It just fits me very well. It's very comfortable. The seating position is great. The Tenere was okay. I had to adjust a few things. I still felt like I was stretched out, like real tall. Like the bike was tall. I don't know, and I guess I don't care what the specs say on seat height or anything. This one feels like you're lower to the ground, and you just feel more, it feels less tippy. I'm sorry, it just does. Talk a little bit about cost. I bought my 22 Tenere, and it was in 21. I got it in the middle of winter. Couldn't ride it for a few months. This is Minnesota, so we get a lot of snow and ice, and you're not riding anything in the winter as far as bikes go. More turkeys. I spent about $10,000 on that bike in round numbers. That was about $10,000. This bike, brand new, was just a little bit over 15 at my local dealer, so it was like 15.2. It's used. That's for a new one. He had new ones available. He also had a used one, and it was this one. I bought this for 12. The other one was new for 10. But I put more than 2,000 into my other one to get it to, you know, the base equipment of what this one has. In other words, I had to upgrade the suspension, rework it, put a rear rack on, the bobblehead thing, and the engine guards, and that was more than 2,000. So I actually had more into the Tenere than I do this used one. I understand this is used. The other one was new. So it's 1,000 miles. I was happy to get that. Let's talk about some of the issues that you see online. You know, you can't avoid. Everybody likes to talk about the KTM maintenance factor and all that. This bike has good long extended oil change intervals like most of the others. I'm not going to get into specifics. You can look that up. That's a spec that's well documented. good long service intervals. As far as problems, in the 1,000 miles that I've put on this bike, what I have seen, and you hear a lot about this online, is about this when it starts. When it starts on a cold engine, this is occasionally. Doesn't always do it. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But it's a real thing. You start it up and it kind of, sometimes it pops right off and runs great and everything's cool. Other times you start it up and it starts at a lower RPM. And what I found is that you can either shut it off, turn the key on, go through the cycle again, hit it, pop it right off, and everything's cool. Or when you start it off, it's at a low RPM, just take your throttle and just give it a little bit, just kind of wake it up a little bit, and then that's it. Is it as bad as everybody seems to talk about online? No. I haven't seen that. I have seen a hiccup, full disclosure. Occasionally it starts at a low RPM. Is it going to get worse or better? I'll let you know. I'll let you know. No other issues with it. This is the kind of bike that puts a smile on your face. You go out and you ride this bike and it's absolutely amazing how this is designed. The features it has, it also has a steering dampener on it. The other one doesn't. There's a lot of features. I won't even get into the tech pack, which, you know, you get cruise control, you get all the different rally modes, you can off-road mode, you can shut the ABS off. It's got what they call the spin adjuster, which is traction control. Right now it's set at 7. That allows some slip, but not as much. So from 0 to 10, this is a 7. So it only gives you a little bit of spin before the traction control takes over seamlessly, and you have no idea. It's so good you can't feel it engaging. It's just smooth and seamless. If I turn it down to 2, now it lets you spin almost as much as you want. I mean, it lets a lot of spin on it. Where this is fun is I ride a lot of gravel roads with it. You go around a corner or even on straightaway and say at 7, it depends on the conditions, how much traction you have, but say at 7, you throttle it up and you can feel the back end just kind of getting a little bit loose, but not uncontrollable. You can drift around corners, you can power slide, you can do all this, and you can do it with a feeling of safety, where you know it's not going to get away from you. So sometimes I just turn it off because I like again, the 10-ray had none of that, and none of my bikes have ever had it actually, except the 790 previously. Your whole control and everything is your right wrist. It's the throttle and driver inputs. I'm down with that. I like it. It's cool. But this is also nice at times. You also get the quick shifter, which I occasionally use. Some of it's nice to have when it's there. If you don't want it, just shut it off. I mean, it's not like you have to use it. If there are certain features you don't like at certain times or certain conditions, just shut them off. It's very easy to control with your left thumb and right through the display. It's very intuitive. Yeah, I like it. feel like it on the pavement. I feel like these are the stock tires on those Meadow's tires. I feel like I could ride this all day long. It's smooth, it's nice. You don't get bounced around so much. It feels real aerodynamic and planted. It's a great bike, I love it. The Tenere also was pretty good. Oh, and I did put a C Concept seat on this bike and on the Tenere. Neither one of them really needed it. The stock seats were good, but these are better. C Concept comfort seat it's just better. So for those long days, you'll appreciate that. So they're both good on the road. This one, it's a little better. So for how I use it, it's got to be fun. That's the main criteria. This bike is. This is the funnest bike I've ever owned. I gotta be totally honest with you. So what's that worth to you? It's worth $5 grand? Well, in my case, it's the same price, because if you can find a clean used one, you can get it probably for the price of a Tenere by the time you put your ads on it to get it to this level. It just depends on you. You don't have a wrong answer. When you're comparing two bikes that are both at the top end of where they're at, and I want to say they totally are, it's hard to be wrong, because they're both amazing. So that's it in a nutshell. Feel free, chime in, shoot me a comment. If you have any questions, maybe I can help answer. If you're considering either bike, I'll give you my fair and honest opinion. I would recommend test rides before your purchase if you can. The other thing too is if you get a bike, pick either one of them and you run it for a year or two, and it's not everything you hope for. You know, nobody ever said you have to own it forever, so you can sell them and move on. There's a good used market. I would, you know, suggest, if not recommend, that if there's any issues, take care of them. Don't dump them on somebody. You know what I'm saying? Keep it clean. Be nice. So best of luck in your decision. I hope you enjoyed it. Shoot me a question, shoot me a comment, shoot me a thumbs up, shoot me a subscribe if you get any value out of this. I'm happy to answer any questions or comments. So that said, you guys be safe and have a great day.